Hi, I'm Liz. I go by Stitch by Liz over on Instagram, and this is a finish parade. I did ask everyone over on Instagram if y'all wanted it included in a regular update or if you wanted a separate video, and a separate video was the stark majority, so this is that video. I have, I think, something like 27 finishes that I actually have to show you. The ones that I don't have, I'll insert a photo because they've been gifted to my mum and my mother-in-law. May as well just get into it. All right, the first one I have to show, if I do look down I have notes, is Current Mood by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was in a Just Cross Stitch Halloween ornament edition from last year, I think. The minute I saw it, I knew I had to do it because look at that cat. That cat is amazing. This is on a 18 count that I hand dyed myself. I finished this on the 13th of September 2021, and I had gotten so into it that I think I finished it in 2 or 3 days. But like, look at this little dude. He's so cute. I love this. This is amazing. The next one I have is a chart that I found on the Sprite Stitch forum many moons ago. Now, I think I've been a member of that forum since 2009, 2010, maybe earlier. I can't remember, but it is the Triforce from the Legend of Zelda, made up of items from the game. Now, this was my first foray into Black Ada. It is stitched on a 14 count black with glow in the dark DMC. And it was my first use of the glow in the dark DMC, and it's one of the worst flosses I've ever used. I now know better. I know now to use shorter lengths than what I was using. But like, it's just incredible. I absolutely love this. It doesn't glow that well unless you charge it. But I want to try I think it's the Sulky Glow in the Dark. Steph at So Glover Creations did a video on the glow in the dark flosses, and she showed the Sulky glowing in the dark, and I think I need to buy some to try it out because there's a couple of charts I want to use some glow in the dark in. So that's another thing for me to buy. Next up is Be a Light. It's a kit from Dimensions that I bought while I was on my honeymoon. I actually started it in Hollywood, our Hollywood hotel, because we'd gone to Hobby Lobby, I think, the day before, or Michael's, I can't remember, but it's Be a Light by Dimensions. I started this in November 2019, and I finished this on the 28th of September 2021 as part of the Whips Be Gone challenge at the end of 2021, or the last quarter of 2021. So while I love it, sorry, it's rolled up. While I love it, I hated stitching it. Not a fan. My next finish, I actually FFO'd this week. If you've seen Flosstube 2, you will have seen this. And this is I Cross Stitch So I Don't Kill People by Spruce Craft Co. I finished this on the 20th of August 2021. And it's just finished in a Kmart frame. And the back is just folded over and glue dotted onto the frame because it's nothing fancy. I don't need to be fancy with it. All right, next finish is a chart from Taylor and Cromwell. It is a quote from the Akotar series, so A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you haven't read it, read it because you need to. It's incredible. This little backstitch section was absolute hell. Not a fan. But there are two accompanying patterns that go along with this that I haven't even started. But I love this quote. This is on an 18 count that I hand dyed myself. It's actually the first piece of fabric that I ever hand dyed. And I love the modeling in it. So I definitely need to get this one in a frame and up on the wall. I love that series. I'm rereading it again at the moment. Because I reread it every year. Next finish is a chart by Country Magic Stitch. It is always. I am a massive Harry Potter nerd, if you hadn't noticed. I saw this on Etsy and I just absolutely loved the colors. This was such a quick stitch. I think it took me a couple of days. I finished this on the 23rd of July 2021. And I need to get this in a frame. I did go to the local store that I get all my frames from. And they were completely out of frames. I had to frame a couple of things for my best friend's Christmas presents. And I managed to get 2 frames because that's all they had in stock. And it was just mind-boggling. And I'm the type of person that needs to have the same frames for everything because I want my gallery wall to be a gallery wall, but I also want it to look uniform with the same black frames. So hopefully they will get them back in stock soon, and I'll be able to then go on an FFO spree, and definitely get that one up on the wall. Now, my next finish, I don't even remember when I started this. The chart is from Sprite Stitch. It's called Mario Through the Ages. Now, I know you guys may have seen a lot of people stitching the big one where he's in the rows and each one is a different Mario from a different game or a different console, and then like their different power-ups and all that. So this is my one. I know I finished it at some point around the time my nephew was born, and he's 10. So I finished it around that time. I started it who knows how long before. But this is so cute. I absolutely love this. It is a free chart on the Sprite Stitch forum. The back on this is so neat. My backs do not look like this anymore. But yeah, this was really fun. And obviously you can see my masking tape before I got myself a sewing machine. So yeah, that one, like I said, I think finished in 2011, 2012-ish. All right, next up is Opana, which was one of my Stitch Mania Stitch pieces. This one only took 3 or 4 days. I think I was meant to do each rotation or each chart for a week. This was such a quick stitch. Like, this was super fast. This is from Magic Mouse Menagerie on Etsy. I finished it on the 3rd of May, so 3 days. Took 3 days to do. And I love Stitch, so I actually need to order a custom frame for this one because it doesn't fit into a regular frame. But the place I get my custom frames from, they do the exact same frames as my local store, so my frames will all look the same still. Next up is another Country Magic Stitch chart. It is one of their retro travel posters. This is Naboo. This is on a 22 count 2/1 tent or half stitch. I'm doing the whole series of the Star Wars planets, cities, places, sure. I'm doing the 3 Harry Potter ones, and I'm doing Welcome to Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda games. So this is the first one I finished. I finished this on the 14th of October 2021. I did ultimately change my mind in how I was going to stitch these. I started them in 2/1 tent on the 22 count. I did do, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I did do a tiny little 1/1 test to see what the coverage was. And I like the coverage, but I sort of want them all to be tent now. So I started the Hogwarts Express one sometime last year. I'm continuing that one with 2/1 tent. So, yeah, I can't wait to get back into that one. So, all right, my next one is the Snowman by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Now I did get this in a Just Cross Stitch magazine. Yeah. He is on an 18 count that I hand dyed myself. He only took a couple of days to do, 2 days, I think. I finished him on the 14th of December 2021. I got to this little section in his face where there's purple floss, and I was just so confused. And Morgan, the Honeybee Stitcher, told me to trust the chart, and like, it's incredible. Aaron knows his stuff when it comes to colour theory and the way this all works, and it's incredible, and I can't wait to do the rest in the series. All right, next project is I Read Past My Bedtime by Stitchrovia. This is my first Emma Congdon Stitchrovia piece. I finished it on the 3rd of October 2021. I don't know what to say about this. I love it, but the backstitching had major inconsistencies, so I had to remember what I was doing. So for example, these little corner motifs were not the same on each corner. 2 of them would be the same, and then one of them would have a piece missing, and then the other corner would have a different piece missing. So that was a little bit frustrating. The other thing is these 2 side motifs aren't centered. They don't match up in the same point as well. And I didn't realize until after I'd finished it, and I'm not going back in to rip it out because I can't be bothered. I love this piece overall. This will get framed eventually, but I think I'm a little bit sour on it from how many issues I had with it. My next finished is Stitch, which was another one of my Stitch Mania stitch pieces. This is from Aurora CS on Etsy, and I finished this on the 5th of November 2021. I absolutely love the colours in this, and Stitch. I love Stitch. Okay, the next 2 I don't physically have because they were gifts. The first one is the Cats of Disney Stitch Along, which a photo will magically appear if it hasn't already. This is from Abby Sue Designs. It was so much fun to stitch. Like, Abby knows how to chart, and her charts are incredible, and they stitch up so well. She does have a 50th anniversary stitch along that is going for pre-order 12 p.m. on the 15th. I want to say Central Time. Don't hold me to that. Check out her Instagram. Information is on there. It's 5 a.m. Melbourne time tomorrow morning, so the 16th for us. I'm getting the chart because I want to do this stitch along. Like 50 Disney characters. Come on. Like, it's going to be massive though. I think it's over 400 stitches high, but just from the border that she shared, like the mock-up of, I'm in. I need to buy fabric. I need to dye it myself. It's going to be an incredible thing. But yes, Cats of Disney. I finished that on the 27th of November 2021. It has been FFO'd and gifted to my best friend. What I had actually done is given my best friend the silhouettes of what was shared and asked her to guess. She guessed every single one correctly. I think except for Pepita from Coco, but that's because she hasn't seen Coco. So I'd update her every time we got a release, which was every Monday and Friday. And I'd update my best friend and tell her that her guess was correct. And I don't know, it was just really fun for the both of us to do. The next finish I have is actually a kit my mum bought for herself to try cross-stitching. Now I'll put in the finish of what it looked like. It has been gifted. She has framed it herself and it is hanging in her house. It is a Hydrangea Shells, I think it was called. It was a Dimensions kit originally. Now, my mum, not knowing about, copyright and all that, bought the kit off Catch of the Day or eBay or somewhere, and it was a Joy Sunday kit. So, I'll still share the finish. The finish is amazing, but, don't buy Joy Sunday. They're a knockoff. My next finish, I don't have it physically here because it's already on the wall behind you. It is my Disneyland California castle. Has been FFO'd and mounted on my wall. That is from Mandarink's Design. And I finished that on the 1st of July 2021. Now, when I saw this chart being released, it was the quickest purchase I have ever made. And once I started it, I didn't stop stitching on it until I finished it. So it was finished on the 1st of July and I think I started at the end of May. So 30 something thousand stitches in just over a month to get that done. And it's one of my favorite finishes that I've ever done. It is incredible. And I already have the Disneyland Paris Castle chart in my loaded into Pattern Keeper. So I just need to organize fabric for that and then that'll be started as well. All right, my next finish, I also don't physically have because it's under the wall underneath the Disneyland Castle. Sorry, it's on the wall under the Disneyland Castle. I finished that on the 4th of July, 2021. It is the Stitch with Guitar, and that is also from Mandarink's Design. And this one was a very, very close finish for Mania. I think once I actually picked it back up, it was only a few days worth of work in July when I picked it up. Finished it and it's framed on the wall underneath my Disney castle. Sorry about the cut. I had a major coughing fit, which is really not a good time. No COVID or anything like that. I just have really bad asthma and today's not a great day for it. The next 5 I don't have. 2 are in my husband's study. So I'll insert a photo of those. The other ones have been gifted to their recipients. So the first one is called Dun Dun from Hot Cross Puns Studio on Etsy. I finished that on the 21st of April 2021. And it is, as you can see from Law and Order, my husband and I, we decided to have a really chill day on our honeymoon. We didn't want to leave I think we had an apartment in Hollywood. We didn't want to leave the apartment, so we went down. So where we were staying was behind the Dolby Theatre. So we just walked around to Hollywood and Highlands Shopping Centre, and I think we ended up getting Johnny Rocket's Takeaway, which the most incredible chicken burger I've ever had. And then pretty much just spent the day in the apartment binging Law and Order SVU on one of their marathon channels that they had over there, and it was just such a good day after going non-stop attractions and tourist things for 2 weeks. So I did that as a sort of memento for that, which was really nice. The next finish I have, again, I don't have, was gifted to my best friend as part of her Christmas/birthday present. It's How to Survive a Horror Movie by the Witchy Stitcher. I finished that on the 16th of July 2021. The photo will be out, and it was so fun to stitch. Like, I don't do horror films. No. But she's a horror junkie, and I was giggling the whole way through stitching that, because some of the things in some of the lists of what not to do in a horror movie just made me chuckle, and it's so true from what I've seen. So it's been gifted to her. She loves it, and you know, I'm really glad to be able to do that for her. The next one, photo will be up, is You Are My Density by the Witchy Stitcher, which is from Back to the Future, which is one of my husband's ultimate favourite films. And that was stitched for him for our anniversary as a little gift. So I finished that on the 23rd of February 2021. Our anniversary is in March. But I couldn't wait. I gave it to him straight away, had it framed, everything. So that's in his study as well. But from what you can see, it's a quote from Back to the Future, and again, that's from the Witchy Stitcher, and she does the most amazing charts. I really love the way this turned out, especially the way the colours pop on the black Ada. All right, the next finish, again, I don't have. It is Elvis. It is a chart I found from Etsy, because my mother-in-law is a massive Elvis fan, and she wanted me to stitch something for her. So I finished that on the 28th of February 2021. It was one of my monogamous pieces. I started it and pretty much finished it in a month, or less than a month, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have all the details in front of me. But once that was finished, washed, framed, and she has it hanging in her house now. So that's fun. She absolutely loves it. She's a massive Elvis fan, and I'm really glad she likes it. All right, the next piece I, again, don't have. It is another kit that my mum purchased for herself to try, and this one was a stamped kit for her to have a go on, and she did attempt it. She did try a leaf, which I then had to unpick because it was a mess. I think the problem was the stamping on the Ada wasn't straight. It was completely crooked. So what I ended up doing is actually soaking this stamp off, gridding it myself, and then stitching it based on the physical chart, which I managed to get into Pattern Keeper, because there is no way in hell I was stitching that chart without it being in Pattern Keeper, because it was just an atrocious chart. It was on shiny paper. You wouldn't be able to mark it off, and even trying to take a photocopy, the glare on it was ridiculous. So finally managed to get that done on the 30th of October 2021. I was actually at her house when I finished it. I took it with me for the purpose of finishing it and leaving it there. So I finished it, washed it, hung it on her line, and she's now actually framed it and hung it on her wall as well. My next finish, I finished in 2020, I think. Now, the next pieces that I'm going to show you were when I was a monogamous stitcher. So I started on it and finished it, or I started on it, worked on it until it was finished. Like, there wasn't starting any other charts in between or anything like that. So this is Walt and Friends from Etsy. I do roll my finishes up once they're done, so there's not major creases. But then the problem is that when you go to unroll them, they're all curly. So hopefully this is fine. So this is Walt and Friends. I was a bit dubious about the chart when I first got it. Now, this was before Pattern Keeper. This was while I was working on paper patterns. I was a bit worried about it because of the way it was showing up, but I absolutely love the way this has turned out. Like, Walt's sketching Mickey, you wouldn't expect it to turn out the way it has, but like even the detail in his hand is, you know, it's absolutely incredible. So I need to get a frame for this. This will be another custom frame. You know, back when my margins were next to nothing. Yeah, I absolutely love the way this has turned out. All right, my next finish is, no, not that one, this one, is a chart I found from, I think, the leakycauldron.net. And they're still around. This was a very, very, very long time ago that I started this. The chart is from Little Mojo. Now, she's known for doing these giant crests. This is Hufflepuff. This is the only actual house crest I finished. I have finished the Hogwarts crest. I don't even know when I finished this. It's been finished for a really long time. I know I started Ravenclaw in 2012, and that's not finished. So this would have had to have been finished in at least 2012, if not before. But yeah, they're big pieces. Before I had finished that, I actually did the Hogwarts crest. Now it's curling up at the bottom and I'm not going to be able to help that, unfortunately. This was the first one that I had done. It is ginormous. And this is on an 18 count Ada. I think this is when I had switched over to 18 count Ada at some point. You know, it's amazing. The original yellow that was in here wasn't a yellow, it was a beige. And I changed it to the bright yellow to make it, you know, more appropriate for the houses. I didn't do it with Hufflepuff because I felt like it would be too much yellow given that the whole outside of the crest is yellow. All right. This next piece I finished on the 7th of January 2016. The only reason I know that was because it came up in my Facebook memories the other day. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this whole thing in frame, but it is the epic Pokemon the epic Pokemon Stitch. This is really awkward. Let me just pan it. This is the epic Pokemon Generation 1 by it's charted by Servatron. I got it from the Sprite Stitch forum, but it is available on Lord Libidin on that website. I know I had been stitching this for I think 3 years on and off. There was a major chunk where I did stop working on it because I, you know, had been working on it for such a long time, but I absolutely love this. Like, it's just, like, it's incredible. It's such a good, I sort of want to stitch it again, but I have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th gen to do, and a giant epic Pokemon with all the generations has been released. Now, I sort of want to do it, but it's way too big, so I vetoed that, but I love the epic Pokemon. I love that chart. Now, my next is Beauty and the Beast Stained Glass. Again, it's another chart from Sprite Stitch. I have no idea when I started it. I know when I finished it though, because I was recovering from an ankle reconstruction, stuck in bed for 2 weeks, and the only time I was allowed to get up was to go to the bathroom, and I was non-weight bearing on crutches, and my surgeon had said, you know, don't get up for anything other than to go to the bathroom. So I was stuck in bed for 2 weeks. I watched the entire series of Gilmore Girls and Parks and Recreation. And this is, again, another giant piece. So yeah, I finished it. I think my surgery was the 27th of April. And I would have finished it in, I think, May 2018. 2018? Yeah, because we got married 2019. So yeah, it would have been 2018 that I finished it. One of the things that you sort of can't tell unless I show you close up is the confetti. Like, it's multiple colors, even the green sections, it's multiple colors, multiple shades of the same color, but the overall, you know, the overall look at of it is amazing. Like, even their skin is, you know, different shades that you wouldn't expect to be in skin, like purple and pink and, you know, blue. But this was, once I'd finally gotten this finished, it was amazing. I think it was halfway through Parks and Rec. I apologize if you could hear a car door. My neighbour is an on-call locksmith, so does get called out random times of the day, and apparently right now is one of those times. Sorry about the cut. He was literally sitting in his van for such a long time, and every time he pulls out of the driveway it scrapes, so I had to cut it because it was incredibly loud. Okay, so the second last finished is an Iron Man chart. Again, I got off Sprite Stitch. I stitched this, it would have been 2011 because I was still at my previous job. So roughly 2011, 2012. I'll insert a photo because my husband's packed it away and he doesn't know where it is. It was a gift for him. And it's Iron Man in the, you'll be able to see it, but it's like the Obama Hope posters that came out. They did, you know, back when he was campaigning. And Iron Man was done in the same form, and it was a lot of block color. And it took me a lot longer than it should have, but, you know, I'm so happy with the outcome, and, you know, my husband loves it, so, except for the fact that it's been packed away. All right, my last finish. I finished this in 2018, 19, I think 2019. Technically, I ran out of a colour. I only managed to get that colour in 2020. And it was something like 30 stitches in this colour needed to be finished. So I'm counting it as a 2019 finish because that's when I finished it. And this is Mickey and Minnie on Main Street. It is incredible. I love it. Like, I love this so much. I could not stop working on it. What am I trying to say? When I ran out of the colour, I was devastated. I went to 4 different craft stores and none of them had it. And there's a few little details in this that I want to point out. The first is the American flag that you can see sort of floating in the breeze there. And then you've got a hidden Mickey in the cloud up here, which I absolutely loved when I was stitching it. You know, I got to that point and I'm like, that's not a hidden Mickey. And, you know, it is. And it's just, it's such an amazing, you know, such an amazing chart, and I'm so happy with the way that it's turned out. So I need to order a custom frame for this as well. But it was so much fun to stitch, and I want to get this on the wall because this is just, it's such a reminder of Disney. And, you know, we had our 2020 trip obviously cancelled, and we're not going back until next year. So it's just a reminder of how much fun we had and we will have. All right, those were my finishes. You know, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments which one of my finishes is your favorite, or if you do have any questions about anything that I spoke about and I didn't mention, ask me down below. I'll get back to you. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, follow me on Instagram as well. I do post my finishes up there before they get shown on my videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.